morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the latest edition of Choppin' It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Pardon me. Listen, I'm in my Throwback Thursday mode. I want to pay homage to the great state of California, Southern California, where I used to reside back about 10, 12 years ago from 02 to 06. So I'm paying homage to Southern California this morning. That's why you see me with the attire on today on this Throwback Thursday. Listen, I want to give a shout out to some of the people from back in South Carolina that made my 4-year residential stay there a blessed one. Let me start out with my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, my nephews, Rodney, Mark, Lee, Brandon, Blake, some buddies of mine that I used to hang out with, play ball with, Skip, Alvaro, Amor, Chris, Andrew, Glenn, Benny. Yeah, man, what good times we had back then in Southern California. But I got a special treat for you today, man. Hopefully my son calls up today, man. I'm trying to have this little father and son segment. He's supposed to be calling up any minute, so we'll see what happens. But we're going to get right to it. In the Major League Baseball, I guess the Yankees got their man. It's funny, they traded this guy during the trade deadline back in July to the Chicago Cubs, and they got some draft picks, but then they go and re-sign him for 5 years and $86 million. I hope they know what they're doing, because the last time we seen Chapman was blowing a save in Game 7 of the World Series. He got bailed out. So hopefully he can come back to the Bronx and his head is screwed on right, so that this way he can be that $86 million closer that the Yankees so desire. Because I'm going to tell you, he didn't look too good in Game 7 against Cleveland in that World Series that Chicago ultimately had to come back and bail him out. So let's see what happens. But the Yankees do get their man. They strike again. Well, they strike again, yeah, because they signed Matt Holliday some time ago last week to a 1-year deal to be their DH. And then the Washington Nationals, they boasted their outfield by getting a center fielder. They made a trade, got Adam Eaton. So they're looking to continue their winning ways. So with the winter deadlines beginning to end, I believe it's 24 hours left. Let's see if there's some more surprises. A little disappointed at my Mets. They're not doing anything as we speak right now. They need a first baseman. I think they should jump on the horn and make something happen. I can't believe that they're being this passive right now. I mean, it's obviously that they're in need of a bopper in that lineup, especially at first base. So I don't know what they're doing, but I hope they do something quickly. Listen, I want to give a shout out to my sister as she's checking in. She said, "Hey, bro, I finally get to see you live." Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, sis. So hopefully my son will be calling up so we can have this father and son segment, but we'll see what happens. But we're going to move right along to the NFL, because as I've been saying all along, the NFL right now, they're having every game is a playoff game right now. Every team is in a dog race. Every game matters, whether you're at home, whether you're on the road, and you got some big games starting tonight with Oakland going into Kansas City. And you know, I like Oakland. I like Oakland in this game tonight. My cousin shouted me out, Tanya. Hey, cuz, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. So I like Oakland today in this game tonight. Oakland. Derek Carr, you heard me say it once before. I got him second in the MVP voting. And if you've been following my show, you know my motto. Stars need to play like stars when stars need to be stars. And Derek Carr, you becoming a star in this league, tonight you have to show us this. Because what this would do is give you some separation in your division. It'll give you more space as the players come along. And also, in addition to that, you're in a dogfight for home field advantage throughout the playoffs with New England. So a big win tonight will give you some room, and will help you along the way. It would definitely help you along the way, and also help your status as far as that MVP race go. I still think Dak is at the top of that list. I got Derek Carr second. I got Brady third. I have Matthew Stafford. He's fourth. And I guess you can put Elliott fifth, and I have Matt Ryan over there at sixth. But definitely Derek Carr, you're going to have to come up big today and show that you are the future of this league. You are deserving of an MVP nod. I look for you to come up big. You got two good receivers over there, Crabtree, Amari Cooper. They've been around the top 10 in receiving all year. I see you coming up with this win today, although it's on the road. So should be a good game. For all you Raider Nation fans out there, I mean, you waited a long time to see this. You guys haven't been to the Super Bowl since maybe 03. No, I'm sorry, 04, I believe it was, or 03, 04. So this is an opportunity for y'all to make a deep run in the playoffs and possibly get to the playoffs. Keep in mind, New England, you know, they may have the experience with Brady, but with Gronkowski out, this could be a tough road for New England. It could really be a tough road. So I like the chances of the Oakland Raiders. Just keep your winning ways. Another big game we have Washington at the Eagles. I mean, listen, I believe my Eagles are done. They can play spoiler. They can play for pride. But Washington still has a chance for a playoff spot. I believe right now they sit seventh in right outside of the wild card right now. So this is going to be a big game for them with Tampa Bay on a 4-game winning streak. Tampa Bay have snuck into not only the division race with Atlanta, but also into the wild card race. So with that said, it puts pressure on Washington to keep their winning ways. So look for that to be a tough fight game. The game is in Philly. As you know, there's no easy games in Philly at all. None whatsoever. So we're going to see what happens with that. But it should be a good game. It should be a good game. Then you have Seattle. They're going to be playing Green Bay. And Green Bay, all of a sudden, they've gotten themselves into the playoff races. So this should be a good dogfight. Green Bay is not going to roll over easy. Seattle just need to just keep their winning ways. They suffered a loss last week to Tampa Bay, so look for them to get back to some of their winning ways. It should be good. I got a buddy of mine, Mike Nabes. He's tuning in, watching the show. He said, yeah, Philly's done. If I know Mike correctly, he's a Philly fan, just like myself. So, yeah, I understand. I think what happened with Philly, Mike, was they came out the gate 4-0. All of a sudden, some of the pundits was making comparisons. Carson Wentz is this, Carson Wentz is this. How does Cleveland look by not taking Carson Wentz? Blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. The expectations was raised quite high. And as a result of it, we were expecting a better finish to the season. But he hit a rookie wall. And now we're looking up at everybody else. But I tell you this, Mike, if I'm the GM of Philly in the offseason, I'm focusing on one area and one area only. It is a priority. Wide receivers. We have to have wide receivers. Jordan Matthews is barely a third receiver on any team. He probably leads the league in drops between him and my other guy, Brandon Marshall. Just drops the ball all the time. I mean, the leading receiver over there is the tight end, and that's Ertz. Good tight end, but he needs some receivers. We need some wide receivers and maybe some help on the offensive line and possibly another running back. But wide receiver should be the way to go if I'm the GM of Philly. Listen, you got another good game, a division rival, New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has been riding a 4-game winning streak. Out of nowhere, they weren't even in the rearview mirror of the Atlanta Falcons. Now they're tied with the Falcons. They ride side by side. This one here is going to be a good game. It's also a division game, so this helps them in the standings. If they can pull out a win here, it is in Tampa Bay. One thing you know about New Orleans and Drew Brees, they're just not going to lay down. You don't know which New Orleans team's going to show up, but it should be a shootout. It should be a dogfight. And if Tampa Bay is ready, this will be a game to show that they're ready because everything is on the line here. A loss to this team, not only you have a chance to fall back a game in the division and possibly tighten that wild card race, but also it's a loss in the division if there's any tiebreaker scenarios. Hey, my man Skip, I shouted him out earlier. As I mentioned, I'm wearing this shirt as a homage to the throwback days to my Southern California, living in Woodland Hills outside of Calabasas and Encino. My man Skip, one of the first brothers that I met out there, man, helped me out in the game in a new field that I never worked in, man. Big shout out to the brother. He made comment on my shirt, but yeah, again, I'm just paying homage to the Southern days of California on this Throwback Thursday. Appreciate the love, Skip. But yeah, so in this case here, Tampa Bay, man, in a tiebreaker scenario, if it should happen with Atlanta, you know, winning these division games could make a difference. So this is a big game for Jameis Winston. Might be the biggest game of his short career. You know, this is going to show if he's one of those quarterbacks that has a chance to be an elite quarterback in this league someday. I don't think he's quite there yet, but he is someone to keep an eye on. The team is only getting better and better under his guidance and leadership. You know, he could be part of that quarterback group that could be the future of the league, as pretty soon we're going to see some of the veteran quarterbacks start to fade out, as we saw Peyton Manning retired this year. I mean, I don't think Brady's retiring anytime soon, but him and Drew Brees are getting up there in age, man. So at some point, they got to be looking at afterlife of the football, you know? So, yeah, so that's going to be a big game. I look for Tampa Bay to be victorious, especially in their home field. And like I said, they're riding the momentum. They're on a 4-game winning streak. It should be fun. It really should be fun. And then you got Pittsburgh. Now, I didn't know about this, but Pittsburgh is actually on a 3-game winning streak. You know, they were on that path where they would win one, lose one. They go into Buffalo. One thing about Rex Ryan, you know he's not going to lay down. He's just not going to let you come in here and have your way. I think Pittsburgh is in for a dogfight. In fact, I think Buffalo gets Pittsburgh this week. Hey, listen, I got a phone call coming in. Let's see who this is.
Hey, hello.
Hey. Well,
This is Greg the Guru.
okay, fair enough. Greg, what's going on, man? I was just talking about your boys, Pittsburgh Steelers, man. I was looking at them. I didn't realize that they had a 3-game winning streak, and they head up into Buffalo. And I actually think that that's going to be a tough game for them. Before you make your question, I just want to shout out my man, Jehudi. He said, how about them Cowboys? Hey, listen, they play Sunday night. I'm going to get around to them. I say Dak Prescott is my MVP favorite right now. They're on an 11-game winning streak with all the historic fame and history that goes into the Dallas Cowboys. Greg, can you believe it? Even when they had the Roger Staubach, the Dorsets, or the Aikmans, and the Michael Irvins, and the Emmons, there's never been an 11-game winning streak in Cowboys history until now, which is led by the rookie Dak Prescott and the other rookie Elliott. That's crazy, man. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. But shout out to both of those brothers. So what's up, Greg? What's going on?
Man, let me tell you, when I heard that about the Dallas Cowboys, man, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's real.
I couldn't believe it. I said, now, wait a minute. I've been with Dallas Cowboys since younger. Can't believe it.
It's real, Greg. It's real. Did we lose you?
No. I'm breaking up. I probably got to put some different phone because it's breaking up on me.
Okay, go ahead and do that. And, you're always welcome to call the show. And anybody out there that's listening or watching, you're always welcome to call the show. Call us back with a better line, Greg. I'll be waiting for you. So that was Greg. He's going to call us back on a better line, but we'll see what happens. But, yeah, Pittsburgh definitely in a dogfight this weekend. You got Arizona and Miami. That should be a good one as Arizona's trying to, have some respectability here. But I do think that Miami is going to pull off the win here and get back to their winning ways. They just came off a 6-game winning streak. It got snapped last week by Baltimore. They're in that playoff picture. I look for them to contend until the end of the season. I don't know if they get in simply because I think Denver and Kansas City's gonna occupy both of those wild card spots. But just to see Miami fighting like this to the end, it's good for that team. It really is good for that team. It's good for that team. Give me a second. Look like Greg is calling back. Good afternoon. Greg, is that you, Greg?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's a better connection right there. So what was your comment? What was your question?
My question is, man, I wanted to switch to the NBA for 1 second.
You had to go there. You had to go there.
Because me and you talked last week, and the subject was Carmelo Anthony. Okay? And my thing is, did I halfway prove my point yesterday, or you seen other things that were going on that were different?
Man, let me tell you something, man. I'm a fan of the Knicks. I'm a fan of Carmelo. And I'm going to remind you, fan is short for fanatic. So sometimes my opinions is always going to be biased when it comes down to them two. I ain't going to let nobody just run me off the stage about those two, the Knicks and Melo. I'll say this, though, man. With all the hype that was surrounding the Knicks in this game with Cleveland and even myself, you know what I mean, was so excited to see this game. The Knicks laid the biggest egg that you could ever possibly lay in the history of egg laying, man. I never seen where they showed Spike Lee getting up and walking out. I never seen that before.
That was embarrassing.
I've never seen that before.
I said, wow. I said, wow. And then I seen LeBron and them doing the water challenge. The water challenge on the bench. On the bench.
I just never seen that. I've never seen empty seats in the garden at any time of a game when there's a full house. I just never seen people just leaving. They even showed Bill O'Reilly leaving. I'm like, what is going on, man?
Yeah, and you know what? And I looked at, listen, man, we played sports for years, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And just the body language, Ramel, just the body language was just terrible on a lot of the players, man, from the Knicks. The body language was horrible, man. The turnovers, man. The turnovers, just simple. I'm talking about these are just like simple entry passes, Ramel.
It was like they were just simply nervous, man. The game went downhill from 14-10. It just went downhill. And I'm saying, the Knicks got some talent. Don't get me wrong. And they were shorthanded without Derrick Rose. But I don't use that as a factor. Did they really have a chance to win this game? Probably not. But I'll say this, though. They had an opportunity to just make this a game. You know what I mean? I was listening to, because I was listening to a halftime report. One of the Knicks reporters or beat writers, whatever, they were interviewing a coach on the Cleveland staff, assistant coach on Cleveland staff. And he had asked him, what is the census about the Knicks around the league? Oh, they're a much improved team. They're going to be a playoff team. Not quite a top 4 team, but they're definitely a playoff team. So, that tells me people are taking notice of the Knicks. But this was an opportunity for the Knicks to just, raise eyebrows, man. You're playing well at home. You're at home. Cleveland comes to your stage. The big lights is on. It's ESPN. People coming from around the country. And you lay the biggest egg in the world, man. This is just absolutely unacceptable. And you guys know my motto. Stars need to play like stars when stars need to be stars. And last night, the Knicks stars were not stars. They looked like mental midgets out there from Carmelo on down. It was just horrible, despicable, disgusting, and totally unacceptable.
Okay, I got you on that, my brother. Now, the game after that, I just want to ask you quickly about the game after that. The Clippers, man, I can't put my finger on it with them neither, man.
I can. I can.
What do you think it is, man?
I've been saying this for a long time. I've talked to people on the NBA radio shows. I've talked to some friends. They look at me like I'm crazy, but at the end of the day, they're not getting any better than they're not doing any better than what I'm saying. I always felt that Doc Rivers and the Clippers is not a good marriage. Doc Rivers is an East Coast coach.
Okay, right.
This is a West Coast team. I think Doc handcuffs them. I don't think Doc is capable of running a team that wants to run the ball and needs to push the ball. Doc is kind of a walk it up, slow it up type of thing. Run only when you can. This is a fast court team. I never thought there was a good match. I thought that Doc would be a better coach at Memphis than he would be here because Memphis is a half-court team.
Right. They're the only West Coast team that runs East Coast.
Exactly. So I just felt that they got talent all over the place. They got an improving bench. They got the best six man to ever play the game and Jamal Crawford. The guy is 36 years old and still gets up and down the court like he's 22 years old. He's won the most six-man awards. I mean, they have that. They have Austin Rivers that's improving. You know, they added Mo Spates. They always got enough pieces there. They got veteran leadership in Paul Pierce. It has to come down to Doc. And then on top of it, Doc is shopping the groceries as well. So if the team is not the right blend, you blame Doc. But then if the team is the right blend, then you blame Doc for not getting the most out of him. Greg, you're here for me first. I don't think this team will be back next season. I believe Blake and Chris Paul walks simply because they don't reach the NBA Finals, and I say they don't even reach the Western Conference Finals.
And I agree with you with that. I agree. I sat and watched them last night. I said, nah, it's just the same old Clippers. It's the same old thing. It's the same old type of ball that they're playing. They're not trying to change nothing. And it's not working.
No, it's not.
It's not working, my brother. It's just not working, man. But yeah, man, let me see. Because, you know, I got to catch you when I can. So what's the other thing I had to talk to you about, man? Basically, the Atlanta Falcons, man, real quick before I go. The Atlanta Falcons, man.
Hey, what's your comment on Atlanta Falcons, man? You tell me. What you think is up with the Falcons?
They're just soft, man. They're soft, man. They're soft, Ramel. They're soft. They just can't do it, man. Their defense is just, they give up big plays. They give up the big play, man.
You know,
they've been giving up the big play. Like if you go look at their last 3 games they lost, it's all been the big play, man.
Yeah.
They give up the big play, Ramel. Like they can't hold anybody.
Yeah, and you know,
they can put up all the points in the world now.
Yes, they can.
I give them that.
Yes, they can.
They can, you know, but like I said, they haven't been able to stop nobody. And that's always been their problem. That's been their problem for some years.
You know, Greg, I had a discussion with a buddy on the job. He's a huge Falcon fan, man. And a lot of respect to this brother. His name is Joe. He's slightly older than me. And a lot of times I go to him for some wisdom on college football and even the NFL for that matter, man. And I was trying to tell him that if the Falcons don't make the playoffs, Dan Quinn is going to be fired. And he doesn't think so because he said that he never thought that the Falcons was that good anyway. You know, but my thing is this. When you have 2 consecutive seasons where you come out the gate blazing and then let the second half not match the first half and you fall out of the playoff, you know, I have a problem with that. It's one thing if you start off at 2-6 and you finish 8-8, but when you're starting off at 6-2 or 5-1 or something like that, and then you finish 8-8, yeah, that's no good. But the biggest problem that the Falcons have, and I think, is a page that they can learn from the Dallas Cowboys. And I need you to walk with me on this. You know, yes, like you said, they got a high-flying attack. They can score with the best of them. Maybe they score better than everybody else as far as putting points on the board. But their passing attack, man, leads to so many 3 and three and outs, I should say. Leads to so many 3 and outs, man. And what happens is that just like Dallas, they don't have the best defense, man. But what Dallas does is usually dominate with time of possession, keeping their defense rested and keeping them fresh. So when they're on the defensive end, they're fresh, and it kind of masquerades their inability or just not being a dominant team. But because they're fresh, they're able to play better. Atlanta, they don't run the ball. They don't run the ball, Greg. And because they don't.
That's what I'm saying, to take the time off that clock.
Exactly.
They don't run it's play calling, man.
They don't run the ball enough.
I've seen them in 3 and 1. And know that 4th and 1 that they always be trying to go for and never make it. They need to stop that, man. They need to stop that, man. That 4th and 1 stuff, like, stop it, man. You're not doing nothing with that. You haven't learned your lesson.
Well,
stop doing the 4th and 1 and all that. Like, you're not kick the ball off, man.
I tell you what, though. They got an easy game this week. They go out to Los Angeles and they play the Rams, man. They should win this game. But you know what? Sometimes these games like this, man, you go in there and you play definitely an inferior team and it's a road game and maybe you have to travel across the country. Sometimes, man, a game like this could be a Super Bowl for the Rams, man. You know what I mean?
I'm worried about my Steelers right now, man.
And so the Atlanta, I think they should win easily, but they need to come out there with that killer and get it over with, because right now Tampa Bay is on a 4-game winning streak. They play New Orleans at home. I can see Tampa Bay winning this and making this a dogfight to the end. And I spoke on your Steelers earlier, man. I didn't realize they was on a 3-game winning streak. They're gonna go up to Buffalo, man. One thing about Rex Ryan, man, he'll love to beat you just to prevent you from achieving something, man. So this is going to be a dogfight for you guys, man. You guys came up big last week. Your defense played well. The secondary played well against Eli. I just don't. I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk for Pittsburgh. They need to have that defense playing like last week. They're going to have to stop Shady. But I think Buffalo might get them this weekend, man. I think Buffalo gets them this weekend.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think they get them this weekend.
Don't say that. Well, I need the Ravens to go down.
Yeah,
that's what.
I'm not sure who the Ravens is playing this weekend, but
oh no, they got the Ravens. Who they got? I think I thought it was somebody in y'all division.
I'm not sure who they're playing.
I know they got the Eagles coming up.
Well, the Eagles got Washington this week at Philly.
Right.
But, here's the thing. And before I go further, just want to shout out my sister. She says Carmelo needs a ring. I agree. But he might have to go to Jarrett for it because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
Hey, you might have to, man.
Yeah, it doesn't look good right now.
For that ring, man.
It don't look good right now. But, yo, Greg, I appreciate the call, man. You know you're welcome anytime, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. All right, so I'll talk to you later, guy.
All right, be good, man.
All right.
And that's my man, Greg, man. Chopping it up with Ramel for a little while, man. Appreciate the call. I definitely want to appreciate everybody who's tuning in on Facebook Live. From my man Skip, Mike Names, my sister, my cousin, Daniel Lim. He says the Cowboys will stub their toe this week against the Giants. I think the Giants get the Cowboys this week. One thing about Eli, he plays his best games against the Cowboys and the Patriots. This is the first week that I actually went against the Cowboys, man, because I actually believe in Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott. I think they're the real deal. I have Dak at the top of my list for the MVP race. If it was up to me, he'd make history this year as the only player to win MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same year. It's just outstanding what he's doing, man. Yeah, people don't realize to be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys is probably the second biggest job in America next to the president of America, man. I mean, especially for a young rookie, a 4th-round pick, with Romo over his shadow, over his back, and an owner that's waiting for you to throw a 2-interception game so he can yank you and put in Romo. Ah, man, what he's doing is just phenomenal, man. Just phenomenal. Phenomenal. But yeah, you know, as Greg and I was talking, we touched on the Knicks. I gave my little rant. We talked about the Clippers, how I feel that it's just not a good match with Doc and the Clippers there. But also, man, it was some blowouts last night in the NBA, man. I mean, Houston, they blew out the Lakers, man. They avenged the loss from earlier in the season and just blew them out by 39. Man, as I mentioned a couple of segments on the show, a couple of my shows, man, this year, man, it looks like the NBA, man, they got stats on steroids, man. It's almost like the home run ball era in baseball, man. I mean, people are putting numbers up that are just unbelievable, man. I mean, James Harden, he's definitely second in the MVP voting behind my man Westbrook. He's leading the league in scoring, I believe. He may have an opportunity to lead the league in scoring and assists, something that has not been done. And let's see, since the early 70s. And then you got Westbrook, who can get average a triple-double. That hasn't happened since the 1961-62 season. I mean, it's just a lot of numbers that's just inflated this year. I mean, the teams are losing with 110 points a game. I mean, it's just stats on steroids, man. You have Boston blow out the Magic last night by 30. You had Sacramento blow out Dallas by 30 last night. And then you had the Clippers just go into, Golden State just go into the Staples Center and just steamroll the Clippers. I mean, this game wasn't even close, man. I mean, they took a command and lead and never looked back, man. So that, you know, that's the NBA last night. I do want to touch on boxing this weekend. You do have Terrence Crawford going up against Molina, and then you have my guy Anthony Joshua in the heavyweight division going up against Molina as well. Now, Terrence Crawford is one of those boxers that, you know, you hear that pound for pound pretty loosely, but he is one of those guys that's pound for pound. So keep an eye on that fight. Should be fun. And we're going to go from there. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode, man. I appreciate everybody who was responding and tuning in, man. I got mad love for you all. So as I always end the show with, you know, I see you in 24. Thanks for tuning in. This is Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat.
Chopping It Up with Ramel.
Peace and blessings.